What if the perfect crime was committed, not with a gun or a mask, but with a keyboard and a mouse? Imagine a plan so perfect that it could bring a bank to its knees without a single shot fired. This is the story of such a plan, conceived by a mastermind who once walked the very halls of the institution he sought to bring down. Our mastermind, let's call him Cypher, was a disgruntled former bank employee, a man who had once been part of the system, but was now on the outside, looking in. Revenge and greed, two powerful motivators, fueled his ambition. Revenge for a career unceremoniously cut short, and greed for the wealth he believed he was owed. Cypher was meticulous, every detail of his plan carefully crafted. He knew the bank's systems inside out, knew where the vulnerabilities lay. He was like a locksmith who had spent years studying a lock, understanding every tumbler, every pin, and now held the perfect key. But even the perfect key needs a hand to turn it. Cypher knew he couldn't do this alone. He needed a team, a group of individuals as skilled and determined as he was. So he gathered a motley crew of hackers, each with their own unique set of skills. A codebreaker who could decipher the most complex algorithms, a social engineer who could manipulate people as easily as Cypher manipulated systems, and a digital illusionist who could make their tracks disappear as if they were never there. Together, they exploited the bank's vulnerabilities, using technology not as a tool but as a weapon. They turned the bank's greatest strength, its digital fortress, into its greatest weakness. They were like digital ghosts, unseen, unheard, but leaving a trail of chaos in their wake. And so, with a team in place and a plan set, the stage was set for the greatest cyber heist in history. In the dead of night, when the world was asleep, the digital thieves got to work. In the shadowy realm of cyberspace, they began their orchestrated assault on the bank's defenses. It began with a simple phishing email, a wolf in sheep's clothing sent to an unsuspecting employee. A single click, and the door was ajar. The hackers were in, quietly slipping into the bank's network, careful not to alert the digital guard dogs patrolling the system. The tension was palpable even in the detached world of ones and zeros. They were in enemy territory now, navigating a labyrinth of firewalls and security protocols designed to keep them out. Each step was taken with surgical precision, a delicate dance between detection and progress. They were modern-day cat burglars, tiptoeing through a digital landscape filled with traps and alarms, their every move cloaked in the shadows. The bank system was a fortress, a bastion of security protocols, encryption codes, and firewalls. But the hackers were undeterred. They had studied the blueprint, knew every nook and cranny of the system. Their fingers danced across the keyboard, commands flowing like a symphony of chaos, designed to bring down the walls of this digital Jericho. And then, they hit the jackpot. The vault, the bank's mainframe where all the funds were stored. It was a daunting task, akin to cracking open a safe with a million different combinations, but they had come prepared. With a powerful decryption software, they began to chip away at the mainframe's defenses, their progress slow but steady. The seconds ticked away, each one heavy with suspense. This was the moment of truth. One wrong move, one misstep, and their presence would be detected, their plan unraveled. The stakes were high, and the room was filled with a deafening silence, broken only by the rhythmic tap-tap-tap of keys being struck. And then, success. The mainframe lay bare, its defenses bypassed. With a few more keystrokes, they initiated the transfer. Millions of dollars converted into binary code began to flow out of the bank's accounts like a digital river disappearing into the vast ocean of the internet. The deed was almost done. All that was left was to cover their tracks. With the same meticulous care they had used to infiltrate the system, they began to erase their digital footprints, leaving no trace of their intrusion. The sun began to peek over the horizon, casting the first light on a world unaware of the crime that had just been committed. The hackers had done it. They had executed their plan flawlessly, infiltrated the fortress, and made off with the loot without firing a single shot. As dawn broke, the deed was done. The money was gone. The perfect crime had been committed. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, the bank had been robbed, not by masked men wielding guns, but by faceless thieves in the vast, uncharted world of cyberspace. With the bank's coffers emptied, the shockwaves were felt far and wide. In the immediate aftermath of the heist, the bank was plunged into chaos. Imagine, for a moment, being in the shoes of the bank's CEO. The bank, once an unshakable symbol of security, had been reduced to a mere shadow of itself, its vaults emptied, its reputation tarnished. For the customers, the trust that was once placed in the bank was now replaced with fear and uncertainty. The once bustling bank became a ghost town, its silence echoing the loss of millions. The impact of the heist was not just felt within the walls of the bank, but it rippled out, affecting the lives of thousands of customers. Savings, pensions, investments, all had vanished into thin air. The victims of this audacious crime were left in a state of despair, their dreams shattered, their futures uncertain. But while the bank and its customers grappled with their losses, the law enforcement swung into action. Detectives, cybersecurity experts, the best minds in the field were brought together to unravel this complex web of deception. The digital crime scene was unlike any other. There were no fingerprints, no physical evidence. But the criminals, despite their meticulous planning, had left behind a trail, a digital footprint. The experts dived deep into the bank's systems, sifting through terabytes of data, looking for anomalies, for patterns, for anything that might lead them to the criminals. The investigation was a colossal task, like finding a needle in a digital haystack, yet they were undeterred, driven by a determination to bring the criminals to justice. As they pieced together the digital breadcrumbs, a picture began to emerge. The crime, it seemed, was not the work of a single individual, but a highly organized group. The heist was carried out with military precision, each step carefully planned, each action perfectly timed. They had exploited a weakness in the bank's security system, a vulnerability that had gone unnoticed until it was too late. But the most chilling discovery was yet to come. The criminals, it appeared, were not just after the money. They had also accessed the personal data of thousands of customers, their identities, their financial information. This was not just a bank heist, but a massive breach of privacy, a violation that went beyond monetary loss. As the days turned into weeks, the magnitude of the crime became clear. The heist was a stark reminder of our vulnerability in the digital age, of the invisible threats that lurk in the shadows of our interconnected world. But it also sparked a global conversation about cybersecurity, about the need for stronger defenses, for better safeguards. The hunt was on. But would they catch the culprits, or was it too late? Every crime, no matter how perfect, has a flaw. Like a thread pulled from a tightly woven fabric, the unraveling began with a single trace left behind. Buried deep within the cybernetic labyrinth of the bank's systems, a tiny digital footprint was discovered, one that the criminals overlooked. It was a microscopic breadcrumb in an ocean of data, but it was enough. Enough to spark the investigation that would lead to the downfall of the perpetrators. The investigators, a team of dedicated cybercrime experts, worked tirelessly. They followed this digital trail, each piece of evidence building upon the last, forming a picture of the audacious crime. The criminals had covered their tracks well, but they underestimated the tenacity of these investigators who were determined to bring them to justice. As the puzzle pieces fell into place, the identities of the culprits began to surface. Faces hidden behind the veil of technology were brought into the light. The anonymous silhouettes became people, with names, histories, and lives that were about to change forever. In a coordinated operation, the authorities swooped in, catching the criminals off guard. The shock on their faces was palpable as they were led away in handcuffs, their dreams of a life of luxury built on stolen wealth shattered. In the end, even the perfect crime couldn't outsmart justice. And so, the story of the bank heist carried out through a cyber attack serves as a stark reminder that crime never truly pays. In the world of crime, there are no winners. The cyber thieves paid a hefty price for their actions, while the bank and its customers bore the brunt of their audacious attack. It was a wake-up call for all. The incident prompted a revolution in digital security, leading to stringent measures to guard against future attacks. But the most potent lesson learned: The relentless pursuit of ill-gotten gains only leads to ruin. Remember, in the digital age, our greatest weapon is knowledge. Stay informed, stay secure.